All right, guys, we are here, the Blue Collar Network, and I'm with John Joback. John, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, my man. So, just to give you guys a little bit about John, I met John through actually somebody I worked with in the past, and we went out and started blasting some guns. So, I know a couple things about you, man. So I want to
Yeah.
start with that. Let's take it. Let's take it to the main business, man. So you is it a mechanic shop, oil change? It's oil change, right?
Yeah, it's an oil change place, similar to Jiffy Lube. I'm not a franchise. I own 100% of my name, so that's what separates me from the Jiffy Lube or the Valvoline. They pay royalties. I don't. I own 100% of that name. But just so people understand what type of a business it is, it's oil change, preventative maintenance, similar to the Jiffy Lube that everybody knows.
Now, what the hell got you into that, man?
Okay, so that's a good question. So when I was growing up, I grew up not, probably below average, actually below average.
Okay.
Not like everybody else had. We didn't have much of anything. And I started looking for different avenues and what I could do to learn different things and trades. And back then, it was big in the automotive industry. People making all kinds of money, removing motors and working for the dealership and stuff. So that's what, attracted me to it. And I reached out to a local shop and I says, "Hey, you guys hiring? I want to be a mechanic." And they're like, "Well, we are. Do you know how to do oil changes?" And I says, "Yeah." And at this point, I was 20, 21 years old.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area. And they started me out doing oil changes and doing a bunch of oil changes there. And the service manager says, "Hey, we need to sell different items on the vehicle. If it needs tires, we need to sell tires. If it needs brakes, we need to sell brakes. So look for those things as the vehicle comes in and you'll get a commission." So I said, okay.
So hold up. You went from like the grunt to doing some sales. So white collar then.
Yeah.
So we're white collar. Okay.
So I started doing some sales there, and I became better than the service writer. So They say, "Hey, you gotta sell to these people." And I'm like, "Listen, I don't want to be doing oil changes. I wanna remove motors and this big stuff." And they're like, "You're too valuable to do that. You have to do oil changes." So I was like, "All right, well, I want to raise though, And they're like, "Okay." So it ended up working out that way, and the guy that hired me over there, we're good friends to this day because he comes from a similar past. He grew up not really having anything, and he worked in an automotive industry at a dealership there in New Jersey. That's originally where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And an opportunity came up, and he bought his first automotive place, and he worked himself up from nothing to becoming a millionaire. And I still talk to him this day. As a matter of fact, I talked to him 4 days ago, and we still talk. So he has a place in New Jersey and back down here in Florida. And so I really like.
Let's stop on that real quick. So basically, this guy came from nothing. You're saying.
Yes.
Built up the shop. So you kind of almost had, I would say, a little bit of a roadmap then. You were like, "Oh, this guy did this with this.
Absolutely.
This is something I can kind of follow with, becoming, being a blue collar millionaire." So like, oh, okay. It's not just, most people, I think when they think millionaire, they think like luxurious and like,
Right.
you fucking got somebody throwing grapes in your mouth and fanning you and,
Caviar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fast forward, I ended up leaving New Jersey. I wasn't really making it there, and I moved to Illinois.
Okay.
I got a job there as a manager running a large company, billion-dollar company, and I had a bunch of people working for me there, and I was controlling the barges in the intercoastal waterway for maintenance and cleaning them and making sure everything was good there. Became really good at that. I had a bunch of people that
So
worked
like shipping crates, like when they ship the crates in, or what's that, barges?
Barges, like tugboats, and they push material, whereas from corn, bark, fertilizer, whatever it may be. And we just take care of those and make sure they're clean and ready to be filled with other products.
Okay.
And, moved up the ranks there pretty quickly. And I was doing okay. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck no more. but there had to be more to life, you know, and I started looking for other opportunities. And I was sort of stuck in that situation, in that job, because I was getting paid to where I couldn't leave, essentially, right? I couldn't get another job anywhere else without a massive pay increase. So I stuck it out. And then, you know, there was an older guy there that didn't really like me. And he got underneath my skin one day. And I says, hey, stop being a jerk. Why don't you just come to work and do your job? Well, he called human resources. I got terminated.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. All right, man.
I had, at that point in time, you know, I had some money saved. And it takes you this long to save it and this long to spend it, right?
Crazy, man.
We had to make a change. And I couldn't get a job. I couldn't figure anything else out. And my in-laws moved down here in Cape Coral. So I sent my wife out. I says, hey, go out there, find a house to rent. I don't care what it is. Let's just go. So we ended up out here. And I had this business background because I learned a bunch working for the company that I worked for in Illinois. And I opened up the phone book and started looking through there. Or maybe it wasn't a phone book. It was one of those books that they throw out in your driveway or something. And there was a seawall company, and they were looking for a manager. Contacted them, and it didn't work out. The guy was crazy. And then I responded to a Craigslist ad for an oil change shop in Cape Coral, and they're looking for a general manager. So I applied for that. They hired me in there. You know, I was making decent money. But I also, within a year's time, increased their sales $48,000 a month. So I says, this is crazy. Out of control. They're paying me a certain amount of money, and I'm providing all this value. And I was like, I got to start looking for my own thing. Well, shop opened up in Fort Myers, and the guy was looking for a manager. He hired me in there and paid me a lot more money than what I was getting paid there to leave there. He made me three offers. I declined two before I took the third one, and I had to take it. It was that good. So I was the manager for 5 years, and he wouldn't really listen to what I was telling him to do as far as propelling the company to get it to be better than what it was. And he was complacent.
Comfortable, you'd say. So complacent.
Yeah, he was very complacent and, you know, just comfortable with what was coming in and leaving a lot of money on the table. You know, I mean a lot of money. And I couldn't stand it no more. And I says, I'm making everybody millions of dollars since I've been here. I got to do this on my own. Even though he was paying me a lot of money, I could be making a lot more money with the information that I'm armed with and what I'm able to do, because I was essentially running the whole business as an owner.
How old were you at the time?
It was 7 years ago. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how old are you now?
I'm going to be 39 in August.
Okay, cool.
Now, I says, I can't do this no more. I'm going to start looking for my own place. Well, a competitor down the street, 2 miles away, was looking to sell their business, which was an oil change shop. So I went over there, and it was a franchise business, which I didn't like. So you had to go through a bunch of hoops. They had to make sure you had the money, you have the credit score, you have all this stuff available before you're able to talk to the owner. Well, I cleared all that, and we started making a deal. I had all the paperwork done, and I says, I'm going to take about 3 days to think about this, and I'll get back to you guys. And they says, well, I thought you were interested. I says, I am, but I don't make a decision at the drop of a hat. You need some time to think about it. Give me 72 hours, and I'll get back to you. So I take this information that I have to the owner that I'm working for now. And I says, I signed a contract with all the fleets here in this area. I own the city contract for Fort Myers Police Department, all the city trucks, the fire trucks, everything, Salvation Army, the radio stations, the whole 9 yards. I says, you could sell me this or you're going to compete against me. So,
Gotcha.
He had nothing to do with it no more. So I bought it November 16, 2017.
Wow. So you bought his shop, basically.
Which is the shop that I'm at now. Yep.
Gotcha. Which is kind of cool, man, because I think you're taking over something that you are familiar with in the aspect of like, you know, the process of it, you know what's already working, like you know the contracts and stuff. That's how old was this guy?
56.
Oh, he's kind of just tired of it at the time.
Yeah, and he wasn't tired of it. It was just that he didn't understand how to run a business. He wasn't a business guy. He's a manager.
Gotcha.
And I also put myself in a position that I pretty much owned everything there. I'm the regional distributor for oil from Tampa to Naples. So if anybody needed oil in that area and they went through that company, they have to call me.
Now let me ask you that though. So what would you say is the difference between a business owner and a manager? What's your definition of that?
So in his particular case there, he was a business owner, but he didn't know how to operate as a CEO. He didn't know how to make deals. He didn't know how to calculate expenses, profit and losses, nothing like that. He worked very well under orders and directions given by somebody else, essentially.
Got you. So he wasn't able to kind of think on the fly for certain things a lot better than you say you would be on it.
Exactly. And that's why he hired me in and paid me what he was paying me, because I was able to do those things. I was able to make the deals happen. I was able to get the best price on product. I was able to establish a communication and a relationship with everybody in the city and stuff like that.
So you jumped into basically a turnkey biz.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And my wife was very concerned about it, because whenever you start a business, you're leaving what people call the comfortability of having a steady paycheck, right? And I like when I hear people say that, because I don't want to start my own business because I'm comfortable here. I've been here 5 years and I can count on a consistent paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. But are you really safe? Because you don't really understand or know what that other person that's your boss is thinking. He could tell you to get out of here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree 100%, man. It's not. I think people think it's a lot safer, because I've always worked for myself. You know, I've had two real jobs in my life. So everything else has been, you know, entrepreneurial, producing, and, you know, making movies, and then the concrete construction, and then even doing some real estate stuff. So like, I'm definitely with you on that. It's not safe, in my opinion, to have a job. You got, all it takes is one client to get rid of you, and you're done. That's your client is your boss, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Reputation is everything, right? You could do a good job, they'll tell 10 people. You screw up something a little bit, they tell 200 people.
Yeah.
So be very conscious of that. But it was really good how that process worked out. It worked out into my favor, and I was ready to execute on the other opportunity.
Yeah. What's the time frame? Well, let me ask you this though. So, because I like to give people insight on time, because I feel like, from what I found in people I've spoken to, you know, business owners and things like that, it's normally like a 7 to 15 year window of like building yourself up, you know? So people think a lot of times they're gonna jump in and it's like, I'm making money, like I'm a millionaire, and it's like, no, yeah, not at all.
Right. So the key to this business here, you know, making more than $1 million annually, is because I was ahead of the process, right? So he was there 3 years or 2 years prior to me becoming in as an active manager, and then I was there 5 years before taking over ownership. So I was able to build that up essentially on somebody else's money, with the intention of, buying this business or learning as much as I could about the business while somebody else was paying me to do so. So I was able to take the model that was already there, that he was not willing to, you know, expand on, and just amplify it 6 times.
Wow.
So
let me ask you this, man, like, because we got to get into this a little bit. So other than even doing that business, this guy right here, you do private security, and then you sell ammo.
Well, yeah. So, you know, it's actually my buddy that has the ammo manufacturing company, and I out in the business a lot. Helping in the business management, do private security for, you know, celebrity clientele. I haven't been doing that much of that, recently.
Biggest celebrity you ever worked with? Who's the biggest celebrity?
Donald Trump and his son.
No way, really?
Yeah, yeah.
How was it? What was it like?
He's cool. A lot bigger than what I thought he would be. I don't even know. He's probably 6'3" or 6'4" or something like that.
Donald Trump is?
Everything that you'd see on the media makes him seem like he's a dwarf or a short guy. He's not. He got out of that car and just kept growing. I was like, whoa. So it was pretty cool. I also focus on Forex. I trade Forex.
Forex, what's that?
Currency exchange. So trading the fluctuation between euro, USD, dollar, JPY, Japanese dollar, stuff like that.
Interesting. So currency exchange.
Yep.
Is that online? What is that? Is that like an online thing?
I got involved in it with a company down here, and it's all over the world now in a very short amount of time. And you bring people onto the program, and we have a series of educators and traders that go on a Zoom meeting in the mornings, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, 11, and then on the London session, 2 to 4 a.m. And they actually give you step-by-step instructions live on the Zoom. Hey, guys, we're going to take this trade, get into it, purchase it, boom, in and out of it, and make the difference up on the variation of whatever currency that you're maybe trading at that time. And then bring people into the program, get them to understand that, and then you have the opportunities to make residual income based on other people coming into the program.
Interesting. Okay. So it sounds like a what do they call them? Pyramid thing? Is it like one of those? Like
a lot of people identify it as that, and it is. I don't like to use that terminology because
it sounds bad. People get like, what? Get that crap away from me,
Yeah, Adolf type thing. So
yeah.
So I do a lot of different things. Online companies. I had a TikTok page that blew up. I got 40 million views on there. I had to start a company for that. Clothing company, Positive Vibes is my brand.
Okay. Positive Vibes. Yeah. Cool. Well, let me ask you this then. Okay, so because I found for me, I don't know what it is. I just can't help it. I've always got like 4 or 5 things going on at once. And there's people that say, stay with one thing, build that up, then do another thing, or that, like, you know what I'm saying? And then add it to it. What have you found that has led to, have you always had multiple things going on at once, or did you focus on one thing and then expand out?
No, I never had multiple things all at once. I feel that you have to go 100% into your first thing, get it stabilized, get management teams in place that can run it to your expectations before you take on another project. Otherwise, that business will essentially become insolvent. No matter what you pay somebody as a manager, a part of your team, they're never going to care about it the same as you as an owner. So you got to make sure that structure's in place before moving on to the next thing. Make sure it's very profitable. Make sure that you can make money off of it. Take that money and then flip it into another opportunity, and just keep doing that over and over again.
Got you. The flip game, the doubles. So they call it the double. What is it? Doubles?
Yeah. So I use the terminology that Kevin O'Leary uses from Shark Tank, and I say I view my dollars as soldiers, right? So when I wake up in the morning, I take my dollars and I put them out in the field as soldiers, and their job is to bring back prisoners in the form of other dollars, right? So at the end of the day, I want to come home with more money than I left the house with that morning. Guys, listen, if there's an idea that you have, go out there, make it happen, guys. Double down on it, triple down on it, whatever it takes to make it happen. Just make moves. And I'd hear a bunch of people saying, oh, well, it's easy for you to say, I live paycheck to paycheck. I go on their Facebook page and they got $200 pair of Jordans on, a Michael Kors bag. And you don't live paycheck to paycheck because of this. Well, you're buying stupid things. I'm like, well, the things that I'm buying are not, I'm using money that, I could afford to spend on that. So,
you would say it's expendable income for you, whereas most people are going in, they're taking every dollar they got and they're throwing into consumer expenditures rather than, hey, let me invest this in myself. And in yourself could be multiple ways. It could be in a business. It could be just you learning something new, knowledge, and then taking that and then putting it to good use, and then living you know, dropping below. I know I did that recently. I actually got out of a place that I was in, kind of forced out in a way. But it ended up working out in my favor, and I had to kind of go backwards big time from where I was living before to where I'm living now. But for the long end game, it's more of a, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're making a sacrifice now. You know, eat top ramen now so you could eat caviar for the rest of your life. You know, that terminology.
I ain't eating that caviar, you guys.
I don't like caviar either, but people, they seem to feel that it's glamorous, and but it's some nasty stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I try to motivate people and get them to do things. You know, I never had anything in life, man. You know, I'm a high school dropout. I went back to get a GED, and I did take some college classes. But college isn't everything, and I don't knock college. I tell people, hey, if you want to go to college, that's great. I'm not telling you not to go. There are some things that you have to go to college for if you want to be a physician or an X-ray technician or something like that. But to become a business owner, it's not essential to go to school to get an MBA to be a business owner. You know, there's very rare occasions to where somebody goes to school for business for an MBA, and then they get a job as the CEO of Google for $340 million. You know, that's a good opportunity, right? But you don't need to spend 6 years in college for an MBA to learn how to run a business successfully. I would advise people to take that 6 years and put it into real world experience, and you'll learn a lot more off of it. You know, there's a lot of things you can learn in college about spreadsheets and all that other stuff, but you're not going to learn what you really need to be doing in that industry without being in that industry or being in business itself, the art of the deal, like Trump says. You know, read that book. He's got a book that's called The Art.
I love that book, man. Yeah, I read that a few years back. Oh, no, a little while back, man. Well, hey, time's running out on this thing. But, dude, where can they find you, man? I really appreciate you coming on. I'm actually going to have you come on again probably in the future. We'll have you come on again. But where can they find you, man?
John Joback on Facebook. Instagram is Tactical Joback. You see a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, John Joback on Facebook. If anybody has any questions or any sort of concerns or anything that they may want to ask, feel free to message me anytime. I love that. I love that stuff. I love helping people, whether it be with questioning and answering or just simple motivation to get them all gassed up for the morning and get out there and conquer the world. That's what I do.
That's freaking awesome, bro. I appreciate you coming on, and make sure you guys check him out. I'm going to put his links down below, and make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
Take care.
All right, so if you guys liked that video and you want to see more, click right here.